All right. 5, 4, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Earnings Prep 101, classes in session, our precise daily stock levels, our game plan in Forex, as well as our full stock analysis. I am Mark Melnick. This is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. There's actually something that might be preemptively sharing with you the Amazon earnings, and it's a much smaller company. And is there some company that reported today after the close that could potentially forecast a problem that Amazon is having? We're going to go into all that and more. But first, two things. Your screen has to go black. First, again, two things. Your screen has to go completely black right now. And then I would like to say thank you to unknown spirits that watch above us over at the T3 Live Compliance team. Kindly pause this video when you are finished reading this. Hit play. Thank you so much for reading that. I appreciate it. So, with that being said, we have some earnings. So, um, as you guys know, I'm not going to be here Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow night there will be a Newsbeat show. So let me just double check. I think Amazon is reporting tomorrow. So definitely an extremely important Newsbeat show to be a part of. I don't need to remind you what happened last time when we were talking about Amazon earnings and we said how every analyst was going to gap it up. No, are they reporting on Thursday morning? Oh, no, Google's reporting. What am I missing? Hold on. Google, I'm looking at it right now. This is very important. And this silly, silly website. Okay. All right. So Wednesday after the close, tomorrow after the close, we have FFIV, we have Ford, we have LVS, Las Vegas Sands. Oh my God, it's going to be an earnings bonanza. 100 other names, Visa, Whirlpool, so many names and more. AMD tomorrow after the close. And then on Thursday before the open, we have names like AK Steel, Philip Morris, or MO rather, Altria Group, AAL, Bristol Myers, Celgene, to name, just a couple. International Paper, McKesson, Merck, and a bunch Twitter, Valero, that's a big one. So what am I missing? So Thursday after the close is Amazon. All right. This is a very important show right now, and if you've made it this far, I suggest you hang around. So here's the deal. I'm not going to be trading on Thursday and Friday. There's a good chance I'm able to sneak away on Friday and share my analysis with you. I'll obviously be sharing it with the room and the Twitter followers, and I'm also going to try to share it with you guys on the internet who are a fan of the Newsbeat show. I will try to get it to you. It might be a morning Newsbeat show, by the way. There's going to be no 7:30 Newsbeat show on Thursday, and that's it because Sunday there should be a Newsbeat show as regular. I obviously will not be around. Very important moment in my life, but let's make it less about me, more about the market. So we're just as we said, we're going to have earnings prep 101 and your class is officially in session. So we had a lot of names that are obviously we're in the midst of an earnings season here. A lot of names are reporting. And just one of them that really caught my attention, maybe especially for you guys talking in the room, was iRobot. Now, what happened with iRobot is you shot up on this. This is after hours. Shot up on this gorgeous bull flag, hit 103.88, shot up, and then just tumbled all the way down. And it sort of looked like this, and then just plummeted even further. Now, it's interesting of why it fell because I'm going to do a little earnings analysis for you on iRobot. First of all, $1.12 expected beats the 48 cents consensus hand over fist. 264.5 million beat the 245.11 million. They raised their fiscal year 2018 view, which is not much for fiscal year 18, just another quarter, right? 255 to 275 from 230 to 250. So the high end of their range before was 250. Now they're saying the low end of the range is 255 and the high end of the range is 275. You see, unlike Netflix, these earnings don't suck. These earnings don't suck. They raised their fiscal year revenue to 1.08 billion to 1.09, which is a raise from the 1.06 to 1.08 billion expected. Again, they're expecting to make at least from the midpoint of their range another $15 million on average. So the consensus from fiscal year 2018, the analysts expected $2.44. So they're already saying that we're going to be 255 to 275. That is a big deal. Now you might stop and ask, well, why did the market sell off? So supposedly it sold off this stock after hours after gapping up because they also disclosed that for this year, operating income expectation includes an anticipated negative tariff impact of approximately $5 million. So because and let me translate it to what's that language? Oh, English. Let me translate that to English. What that means. iRobot gets parts, manufacturing and or parts in China, brings it over to the US and sells it. And they're being negatively impacted by a tariff. Can you name a multi-billion dollar company that has stuff manufactured in China, ships it over to the US and sells it in massive quantity? What's that company? We use it all the time. It's obviously Amazon. So when you guys were asking me, Mark, you love Amazon, you use Amazon, heck, have my registry on Amazon. Everything is through Amazon, right? I love the company. I love the company. In fact, there was something funny that I got today because I remember when I was saying the other day, I get so many Amazon packages that I just don't know what to do with them anymore. So I actually got this, which is hilarious. And hold on, wait for the focus to come in. Hold on. Come on, autofocus. You could do it. Oh, God, it's so funny. Maybe we'll do it like this. All right. Well, anyways, there we go. It says Primnesia. When you order so much Amazon Prime that you don't know what's in the box. That is what I suffer from. Primnesia. I love Amazon. I use the crap out of it. But But if iRobot is plummeting, fair enough assessment. I mean, would you consider this move after hours when it hit 103.88 and dropped to 81.10 when it dropped $21 after hours from the high? Would you consider that a plummet? Yes. So their plummet is based on the fact that they're taking $5 million in tariffs. This is where it's a bit of an overreaction for this company. One, if it's worthwhile for the people, you know what iRobot makes? They make the little Roombas, those things that don't really do a good job cleaning, but it gives you an excuse to be lazy. I don't vacuum my house. I have this little stupid cylindrical thing that runs into things and can't get underneath my couch that's bumping into everything trying to clean for me. And then you'll sit there for an hour trying to maintenance it and pull out all the crap it picked up within its brushes because it can't self-clean itself. You know what iRobot is? iRobot is like a stupid vacuum cleaner. Like how you have like smartwatches, smartphones, smart TVs. iRobot is like a stupid vacuum cleaner. It's supposed to be it's a stupid vacuum cleaner. It supposedly maps algorithmically the entire surroundings so it knows where to go. You know how it maps the surroundings? It bumps into things. I swear, like my Roomba might have been dropped on its head too much. But again, that's my personal opinion. Maybe if I lived in a house that had 50,000 square feet, maybe I would hire an army of Roombas and I would just have them go around, and then I would hire somebody to make sure that they're all running properly. It is a stupid vacuum cleaner. So, from that perspective, I'm not too crazy about the company. But who cares what Mark Melnick thinks? I mean, maybe you should care just a little what I think, but who cares what I think about the product, right? The company is making money. They announced solid earnings. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. They announced a $1.12 versus the 48 cents consensus. Great job, analysts, by the way. Great consensus there. You geniuses. I say we give you all raises and all free Roombas to maybe vacuum in the office. Maybe there's too many mold spores in the air and there's too much dust that you're breathing in that's making you, turning you into an imbecile. But besides for that fact, they their revenues were 19 million higher than expected. Their full year was raised, which means even with the analyst poor job of predicting what this company would earn, I'm not saying that I would predict it well, but I am not a paid analyst getting paid to predict it. I'm here to rip them apart when they screw up and they sound stupid and they overreact. I'm not saying they sounded stupid. I'm saying this is an overreaction, though. So you come in with let me get this straight. So you come in with iRobot, you're making tens of millions of dollars more in revenue than expected. You're saying you're even going to make more, about $5 million in additional tariffs. Additional tariffs. That's what made you plummet? Really? Because they anticipated a negative tariff impact of approximately $5 million? Because they are directly making the product. Does anybody know where Alexa is made? Does anybody know where Alexa is made? You know, the person that's listening to your most intimate conversations. Alexa knows everything. It knows who you're having sex with. It knows all your political views. It knows your favorite shows. It knows your credit card information, whether you gave it to her or not. But let me ask you something. Where do you think Alexa is made? Where is Alexa manufactured? If you had to take a guess. It's made by Amazon, we know that. It was developed in Silicon Valley. We know that. I don't know. Is it made in China? It might be. I'm not sure. But I will say something about Amazon. If iRobot is experiencing $5 million in tariffs from manufacturing stuff in the great communist country of China, what kind of severe punishment is Amazon going to feel because half the stuff you buy on Amazon, or maybe not you personally, well over half the stuff sold on Amazon is outside this country. From other countries too, but outside this country. There are people who make a living on Amazon. I know some of these people. Some of these people make seven-figure salaries. What do? Do you remember the people who used to make a living on eBay, buying cheap stuff and flipping it on eBay? A lot of those people, not all of them, migrated to Amazon. You know what they do now? They're like, okay, I'm going to buy 50,000 of these little BS tents that you could go camping with. In China, they cost me $6 to produce. And on Amazon, I'm going to sell it for $25. And then they're going to brand my little logo on it, like as if I'm a company. And you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, 50,000 of them? Where the hell am I going to store this stuff? Oh, I'm going to just send it to the Amazon warehouse. And Amazon is actually going to hold it for me. But what if someone buys it? Then you have to mail it out? Nope. Amazon will do that for you too. Do you see what Amazon is doing? It's making it easier. Like, you don't need to own a warehouse anymore. It used to be, like, if you're from Brooklyn, by the water there is the slummiest part of Brooklyn. The slummiest part of Brooklyn. You have people there in warehouses, and all there are strip clubs and bars there. I've never stepped inside any of them. I was too young at the time. But, like, there, that's all it is. And it's just a bunch of warehouses by the water that just store random garbage, whether it's food, drinks, items, furniture, and they just ship them out. And they have these trucks that pull up, they load them up, and they just take them out. There's no need for that anymore. It's all coming from Amazon. So don't get me wrong, Amazon's business model is phenomenal. But what do you think the odds are that did you know that Amazon gets a preferential rate from the United States Postal Service? Do you think it's funny why all of a sudden Amazon is building a fleet of planes to transfer their garbage from one facility, excuse me, products from one facility to another? Do you think it's strange? Now, what would you say the odds are? Because I don't know about you. How many people here notice that all of a sudden you're being charged tax on Amazon? Do you think this has anything to do with iRobot? How many of you guys notice that when you buy something on Amazon, you'll notice there's tax? So, the great state of New Jersey, like how you have like many different states, like Florida is the Sunshine State, and you have like all these cool monikers. New Jersey is officially known as the armpit of America. That is New Jersey, the armpit of America. Do you realize? Um, do you realize that the United States Postal Service is owned by the federal government? Do you know what happens if all of a sudden, for whatever reason, Jeff Bezos doesn't get a preferential treatment for shipping? Jeff Bezos is already betting on that. So that's one risk to Amazon. You know what the best part about Amazon is? Nobody likes to pay for shipping. That's the whole point of Amazon Prime. So when I see iRobot getting 5 million additional in tariffs, I sit here and I say, well, if a company like iRobot, with everything they do, is paying $5 whole million in tariffs, I stop and I look at iRobot and I say to myself, iRobot is a $2.5 billion company. Hmm, Amazon is an $862 billion company. Now, I'm not saying that every single thing that Amazon does is selling goods made in China. I am not even insinuating that. But is it safe to say that at least $1 billion in additional taxes will be slammed upon Amazon's mug? Is that a fair assessment? Am I being too modest with my projections? The last thing you want for a company that has been in just one of the most phenomenal. I mean, here is a chart of Amazon on the monthly. Here, let me delete this line for you. Here is a chart of Amazon on the monthly. That is Amazon's monthly. It goes all the way back in 2011 when it was a $166 company, and it goes all the way up to $2,050. You're telling me that you have ever seen a stock in your life that can maintain this? I know many stocks that can maintain that and even head higher, but that's for another Newsbeat show. You will never see a tech company maintain a movement like this. Take the most expensive company on the planet. publicly traded company. Even Apple. Look, went right here in 2012 to $100.75 to $55 from 2012 to 20. I'm talking post financial crisis. We're talking Obama's second term already when the market went up for 4 years. We're talking 2012 into 2013. Did you know that Apple went from $100.75 to $55.03? Did you know that Apple got cut in half in a matter of 8 months? Then grinded sideways and it took it almost a full year to recover and then fell hard again and then went up again. That is the most valuable. That There we go. That is the most valuable company known on the planet. You're telling me this makes sense? You're telling me this makes sense? You want to talk about Apple's problems? You want to tell me you want to talk about what problems Apple has? Oh, they only sold 100 million iPhones as opposed to 103 million. Like that's Apple problems. What kind of problems can Amazon have? Hold on. Let me I'm not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. How about Netflix on the monthly? Wow. With crappy earnings still holding up beautifully. How about Facebook? Yikes. Look at that bearish engulfing monthly bar. Yikes. That looks scary. That looks scary. So all these I don't consider Facebook, the same type of caliber as an Apple. But you're telling me that with all said and done, that a company like this is going to withstand the tariffs being thrown at them from China after we saw iRobot plummet on good earnings. Now, again, I was the same person that told you Amazon earnings absolutely suck last time they reported, and they gapped it up 80 points. So I'm fully convinced that imbeciles will control the market in whichever way they deem fit. Do I think iRobot's being unfairly beaten up? You're damn right I do. Does that mean it's a buying opportunity here? No. And the reason why I'm saying no on iRobot is because when you put in a big red bar like this on the monthly, this is the monthly of iRobot. Granted, it's going to end in a week or so. Look what happens when you put in big red bars in iRobot. You tend to follow through. You tend to have 3 red bars in a row that pull down on iRobot. So don't be surprised when you see iRobot $70. Do I think they're overreacting? Yes. Do I think if you really believe in this company over the future, which again, they make really. How many people here love your Roomba? How many people here love your Roomba? Go ahead, tell me. Type it in the comment. You, Angela, your Roomba sucks. Your wife likes it, Tom. That's because how sparkly is your house? That's good that she likes it. Roombas are supposed to suck because they are vacuum cleaners, but they suck at being vacuum cleaners. Battery issues, messy. Your house is messy. You got it on Prime Day, so you actually got it from Amazon on a good deal. That's funny. So going back, so I don't think iRobot is a buy. I do think it's unfairly punished on earnings, though. So here's Amazon, a company that had fewer pull-ins than every other FANG name. You're telling me you really want me to believe a company that offers web services and great stuff, but for a company to have a chart maintained to the upside like this, you have to be phenomenal on all fronts. You have to have all cylinders running. Because if you want to justify a valuation up here in Amazon, and again, I take you back to the PE ratios of $140 on Amazon. So so for every dollar Amazon earns per share, you're paying $140 for that dollar by buying the stock of where it is trading today. You're paying $140. How about Apple? For every dollar Apple earns, you pay $20 for it. 7 times cheaper. Do you realize what would happen if Amazon was valuated at the same PE as Apple? Do you even understand what that would look like? If Amazon right now, and I understand that Amazon has different growth projections, I get it. I'm not saying it is the same company, but just to show you an estimation of Amazon's price, if it was valuated at Apple, it'd be a $252 company. Is that enough for a bear market? You're damn right it is. And Apple will be trading much lower as well at that point if if Amazon goes to 252. I don't think it's going to 252. Never said it would. Just pointing out what happened. So, can Amazon after earnings go to 2500? And the answer is yes, because what's going to ultimately move this market, what's going to ultimately move this market is the market. What's going to ultimately move Amazon is the market. Remember, I was bashing it here on July 27th. I said the earnings suck. Amazon plummeted that day and went red and then headed down for 2 more days. We called the bottom here. Remember, we called actually the bottom there on July 31st. And then we rallied all the way up to all-time highs because the market rallied to all-time highs. But the more and more pegs you're pulling out from underneath the FANG names, the more and more Facebooks you have out there falling, the more and more Netflix with their craptacular earnings. And again, here's my iPhone. I order a lot of stuff from Amazon. You're listening to me now on Facebook. I love Netflix. I'm watching second season of Iron Fist right now, and no spoilers. I Google stuff all the time. I am an active participant of every FANG name. I am. But if you think that people weren't already shorting Amazon into this earnings report, you are sadly mistaken. I think part of this whole bear market move has to do with people liquidating their Amazon because their earnings actually did suck last time. And I know some of you will disagree. And by some of you, I mean the majority of analysts, every single one of them who raised their target on Amazon, who's hiding under a desk right now. Because Amazon right now, guess what? You know where it closed on earnings day? 1817 on the last earnings day. It's trading lower than the last earnings when the earnings were good. Or maybe it's Facebook, which I also said the earnings sucked on Facebook. And they're having other problems. And look what Facebook has been doing. All-time high on Facebook, $218.62. Why isn't anybody talking about the fact that Facebook lost well over well over 30% of its value? Why isn't that a topic of conversation? Why aren't these analysts talking about that? Why aren't the analysts talking about that Amazon went from 2033 to 1685? So you're telling me Amazon can drop 350 points in less than 2 weeks worth of trading. 350 points in less than 2 weeks of trading. And you want to justify these bullshit prices to me? Is that what you're trying to do? Maybe the only company that has a justified price of where it's at is Apple. Because Apple is going to be the company that you are going to buy an iPhone and you are going to drop money. And you are going to utilize these things. Amazon, in a bad time, you might use it less. Google, Advertisers, if they're selling less things, are going to be advertising less. Facebook, you're not going to be clicking on as many links on Facebook during a downtime. They're not going to make as much money, believe it or not, even if you're on Facebook every single day. Netflix, Netflix doesn't really care how many times you use their service. They don't care. They just want to make sure that they're producing new content so you don't cancel the subscription. You know what happens? See, that's the funny thing about Netflix. You know what happens? What do you think would happen right now if Netflix is like, we're putting out no new content for a year. We just want to see how many subscribers we hold. How many of you want to deep dive Netflix into all the garbage movies they have? Like, oh, I want to watch Kindergarten Cop. No, you buy Netflix to watch the new Stranger Things. You want to watch some of the new Marvel shows. You want to watch The OA. You want to watch all the shows, whatever it, Orange is the New Black. I never seen that one. Whatever it is, you want to watch the new shows on Netflix and you want to see the new seasons for the new shows you want to watch. And unless they produce that content, you are gone. You want to know what content you'll never get rid of? Apple. You want to know the company that's not going to be super hurt in a recession? Apple. Everyone will go down. Apple will outlive all of these with that P ratio because it's just getting to the point where if Apple, let's say the market drops 50%, what is Apple going to be, a $10 PE company? Like you're going to look at a growth company like Apple with a $10 price to earnings ratio. It's going to start to look like a utility stock. Like you might just start buying the stupid thing for the dividend. They're already paying a $3 dividend. Like you can't screw with Apple. That doesn't mean the entire market can't go down. That doesn't mean that Amazon earnings are going to look good. You could put as much lipstick on that pig as possible. It still smells like bacon. And again, I don't know if they're going to really treat Amazon with the proper gloves or they're going to put on nice little velvety velour gloves, like the same stuff my Guido tuxedo velour suits are made of. Those comfortable suits that when I'm relaxing outside, and I like, my wife hates those things, by the way, and those beautiful velour suits that I like. And maybe we'll put on those little gentle gloves and we'll say, it's okay, Amazon. It's okay. We know you suck. We know your earnings suck. Don't worry. All the analysts still love you. You're going to be a very good Amazon. I don't know what they're going to do with earnings. I don't know. But I will tell you this. If Amazon is treated fairly on earnings, which a lot of stocks aren't, iRobot is a good example. For iRobot to change the operation to the United States or just pay the tariff, whichever one saves the money, makes sense. I mean, you're pulling in $1 billion of revenue and you have to pay 5 million or more taxes. Ooh, not a big deal for an iRobot. Big deal for Amazon? You bet your ass. So if they take off the velour gloves for again, I'm going to read the earnings report. I'll hear me out right now. I'll be the first one to come to you and say, ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong on Amazon's earnings. I looked at them. They look really good. And I'll be the first to admit I'm wrong. You have to understand that when I called for the down move in Amazon, I saw the earnings report, predicted every analyst was going to raise it, predicted how we were going to short it the next day, and executed upon it. And Amazon crapped itself and went up 80 points to red. This is more of a pre earnings look. And if it sucked last month, again, my opinion, every analyst will disagree. Oh no, Amazon didn't suck. It was amazing. That's where the AMZN comes from. It's amazing. It's just missing the AIG in it. It's funny. If you combine Amazon and AIG, you get amazing. But I will tell you right now, if it sucked last month, what's going to happen this month when more tariffs were imposed on the Chinese? Do you think you're improving in an environment after you tariff the Chinese? Can we think logically here? Amazon should gap down 75 to 125 points on earnings. Should gap down 75 to 125 points on earnings. If the earnings are going to be as I expected. 75 to 125 points. Truth is, ladies and gentlemen, if I saw the earnings report last time, I would have told you the same thing, that Amazon should have dropped 75 to 125 points. And you know what happened? They gapped it up. They gapped it up right over here. They opened it up at 18.80, so they literally gapped it up fully $72. It was higher after hours at one point, but they opened it up the next day at $72 higher. And then it dropped 140 points from that top in 3 days, including the day of earnings, 3 total trading days. So that to me was fair. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. If they take off these velvet gloves on Amazon, which they should, there's no reason why Amazon isn't a $1,600 stock by the end of the week. Hold on. Give me a little bit of credit. Wherever it closes, $125 less. So if it closes at 1768 tomorrow, 1643, you get the picture, okay? I'm not saying, oh, well, the market at 1630, you said 1600. No, I'm saying $125 less. That's a bold enough of a call. So, I don't know if they're going to see. That's a good question. Are they going to initially gap it up? Are they going to take off the little baby gloves with it? Because when you take off the baby gloves, Netflix should have dropped 70, 80 points, in my opinion. Actually, I never shared that number with you. So it went from $380 down to $316. So it dropped $63.23. I think it should have dropped 80 bucks on earnings. And it did it after 5 trading days. So that would have been my prediction. I would have been off by 17 bucks based on Netflix earnings because they sucked. Netflix earnings sucked. Love the service, it sucked. Amazon earnings, take off the velvet BS gloves, and the average Melnick consensus range is you're dropping 100 points in Amazon. You're dropping 100 points in Amazon. You want to take off the, you want to put more lipstick on this pig and say it looks pretty. You want to put lipstick on the pig and say it smells like fresh cut bacon. Mmm, delicious. Or do you want to stop beating around the bush and start calling out these companies, these amazing, phenomenal, successful companies, and just say you're not as successful as I think? You see, the problem with most analysts and traders on Wall Street, they don't understand why a successful company should ever move down. It actually makes no sense to them. That is why traders get destroyed. That is why traders get destroyed. It's not, I'll prove it to you. Okay. Apple is a lovely company. Why isn't Apple at $250 right now? Right now. Do you think they're not going to be around in 5 years, 10 years? Of course they will. Why isn't Apple a $250 stock? Why isn't it a $300 stock? Why isn't it a $350 stock? You know what? Why isn't Apple a $2 trillion company? Why is it only $1 trillion? Don't tell me it's because their earnings aren't good enough. Don't tell me it's not because they're not earning cash fast enough. They're basically printing cash faster than the US Treasury. Like, why? Answer that. No, really. Like, I'm asking you a question. Why isn't Amazon a $300 company right now? Because all these prices are made up by the people who will buy and sell them. That is the true answer. And if you stop and you look at Apple, and I take you back to, I'll take you to the quarterly every 4 months, 3 months, excuse me, and I'll even show you 2008 into when Apple was a $16 company and they were making money. And then it went from $16 to $11 in 2009. Apple, the same shares you see today. with all the splits included. Went down to $11. And then in 2012, it rallied to $100. $100.75. And then 9 months later, it dropped to $55. So you're telling me after we knew with all the amazing iPhones and iPads and iPods and all that Apple does in their MacBooks and their AirBooks and all those phenomenal products back then, why wasn't Apple a $200 company in 2012? Why wasn't it a $300 company? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is how the market works. And again, you want to say that I only have 19 years in the market and there are people 50 years who have seen more than me. I'll agree with you. But here's my take on it. I'll share with you my take on it. My take on it is just because a company is successful doesn't mean they move higher. Just because a company reports good earnings doesn't mean they move higher. A lot of times they move lower. Just because a company reports bad earnings doesn't mean they go lower. Sometimes they go higher, like Amazon initially did last time. So, what we really need for a bearish move in the market are for analysts to start really downgrading FANG names, not fakely, not putting a $220 target on Facebook, not taking Facebook and putting a $220 target down from 230, not those empty word analysts. We're going to need analysts looking at a Facebook and saying, yeah, we're dropping our target from 200 to 130. That would drag down the whole market. And then, of course, everybody on Wall Street would want to murder that analyst for saying that. But that's what it is. You want to talk about conspiracy theory? The analysts, think about it like this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it like this. Right over here, do you realize how many dozens of upgrades Facebook had when it ran up from April, May, June, July, August? You know how many upgrades it had? 170 to 200, $200 target from 170, 210 from 180, 230 from 210. And these analysts couldn't run over each other fast enough. Now all of a sudden, where they are, poof, like magic. What happened? Oh, shh, don't talk about Facebook. Don't talk about Facebook anymore. Where are you, all you perma bullish morons? Where are you now? Now, it's okay to be a perma bull, but come out, do the responsible thing, and say you were wrong. See, that is the problem. There are people in this world, I cannot stand people like that, who just can never admit they are wrong. And I'm sure you might know someone like that. Those are the people who become analysts. Me, I admit I'm wrong all the time. I will be wrong in the future, and I will admit it. And I will be right in the future, and I'll admit that. But if you're an analyst, you'll never admit you're wrong. Where are all the analysts with phenomenal Netflix targets who all upgraded it after earnings? Do you think they're feeling a little weird right now? Do you want to point out you could actually record these idiots and actually hold them accountable because these are going to be the same idiots that upgrade Amazon on earnings and defend it no matter what Amazon says. I could show you it. Here. Okay, let's talk about Netflix, all right? Whose earnings were horrible. They announced 23 cents a share versus 51. Remember when I said their earnings suck? They announced 4.19 billion versus the 4.23 billion expected. Remember when I said their earnings suck? They said their free cash flow is closer to negative 3 billion than 4 billion, but it was negative 859 million a year ago. So in order to keep us happy, they pretty much quadrupled the amount of money they had to spend. You know why? Because I'll tell you why. They make a show, people love it, and then the actors and Marvel and everyone comes back and says, "Oh, you liked it? Yeah, we charged you $50 million to make Daredevil. Guess what? You want Daredevil 2? 150 million. Guess what? You want a new season of Orange is the New Black? Guess what? You want a new season of Iron Fist? You want a new season of Luke Cage? You want a new season of insert your favorite Netflix show here? You're paying more money now. Oh, so you mean If I'm just watching the same show over and over, Netflix is paying more per season. Yes. Remember the show Friends? What were they getting paid? Like 10,000 an episode? And then in the later years it was a million per episode. They're getting paid 100 times more per each member, $1 million per episode. To see David Schwimmer, the big huggable, I don't know, whatever. I'm such a good guy and I have all these women problems. Huh? He's getting paid $1 million an episode. That dude. So for Netflix to maintain all of this, they have to spend billions of dollars. And what do you think is going to happen next year? They're going to be like, oh, all our subscribers paying us 8, 9, 10, $11 a month. That took care of everything. Everybody still loves it. Bullshit. And that's why Amazon earnings are going to suck. Because when you wipe off the lipstick and you could see through all that Maybelline, it's going to look like crap. Now, you could take a turd, you could put it in the oven, you could season it, you could bread it, you could deep fry it, you can make it sapura. You can have a turd sapura. And you could dress it however you want. And then you can have a bunch of food critics, which are also known as the analysts, come out and say, wow, what a beautiful turd. That is some of the most craptacular earnings I have ever seen. And they could bull it up all day and night, but it's going to suck because China's going to destroy them, or they're already getting destroyed by China. You're just unaware of it now because that should come out in the earnings report. I doubt they're going to still be paying the same for their postal services. Isn't it great to have Amazon Prime? Oh, 2 day overnight. Oh, I just press a button and boom, it's at my door 2 days later. Yeah, that privilege cost money. Lots of money. And you remember what Amazon did initially? Let me take you back to a time where Amazon was admittedly losing money to ship it for you 2 days later. But it was such a good thing that they got so many millions of people on board that they actually turned it profitable. It was genius what Amazon did with their company. I have so much respect for them. But with that being said, please do not you know, lie to anyone you want. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself and look at these earnings and try to find the silver lining. Certain things in life you try to find the silver lining for, certain horrific things that happen to people and the myriad of unfortunate events and accidents and God forbid diseases, and you try to that's where you look for silver linings. When you're a publicly traded company, don't look for the silver lining. Don't look for the brown lining as well. Just look for the truth. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't make it taste bitter. Look for the truth, and ye shall find thou path. That pretty much did I pretty much cover Amazon? Did I pretty much cover I mean, is just for the room. Do any of you guys have any questions on Amazon? Straight up, Newsbeat show right into the room. What questions do you have on Amazon right now? If you have any questions on YouTube or Facebook Live, post it. I'll have to get back to it later through typing. Am I going to play Amazon? No, because I'm not going to be trading on Friday. Vertical put spread on Amazon? That's up to you. Again, I'm not sure that they're going to gap it down. Maybe for it to drop 100 points, it has to gap up 50 and then drop from positive 50 to negative 50. I'm making it up. I don't know. These analysts are so full of these analysts destroyed themselves. Now, is the market going to turn around? Is Trump and Xi going to solve the Chinese crisis in the G20? These are things that are going to solve Amazon's woes. No, it's not. I don't know, Alex. He's asking what's the chance for an overshoot that Amazon's down 300 points? I don't know. Low, very low, because every analyst will defend it. Probably not, Colton. Not in the any time near future. Is 313 to 427 a valid technical line on Amazon? Um, 313 is a good start point, and you hit 427, which is the top right there. Absolutely, it's a valid trend line. But we already hit it for a reversal there on June 25th and then bounced higher. So you're basically looking to see if we continue to bounce off a second test here. Maybe. So I don't know. It's a good question. Precise daily stock levels because you want to know where Amazon and everything else is moving tomorrow. You want to know. You want to know. How do you guys like some of the names that we called today? So what was it? 2223 something an Apple today? What was it? 223.30, I think our level was on Apple today, and it hit 223 and a quarter. Here are all the algorithmic levels that you need to know for tomorrow. Feel free to screenshot it, take a picture, tattoo it on your arm. I wouldn't do that. Jot down whatever you want. It's right over here. In terms of a game plan name, oops, that's outdated. It's not Valero bullish, bearish anymore, which actually Valero actually was falling since we mentioned that. The game plan is actually Tesla bullish. Yeah, I didn't update it there. So let's pull up Tesla. So the level, the stock I'm watching here is Tesla bullish. Did hit into ascending resistance here, and Tesla was one of the names we played long today. It was our best name, or my best name, a lot of people's best name of the day. Again, I sort of put out a little, even though it was a low conviction day. Here's my tweet out at 8:54 a.m. Watch also Tesla to go higher today if it can hold 261.86. So that was just right off of our Twitter feed and of course in the room as well. And I'd look for a follow through of $297.93. No reason why Tesla doesn't get to 300. No reason why Tesla doesn't get to $300 tomorrow. Maybe even in the pre-market. And what else? Our Forex trades? Sure, I have one of them. Just a simple short idea of the euro yen. Sell 4 standard lots, euro yen, 129.501. Stop loss is right here. Take profit is right there. That is the only Forex trade I am watching. That's a screenshot from my live account. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I told you how I really feel about Amazon. We're the largest, fastest growing trading room in the United States of America. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.